You know what, guys? In a nice way, y'all. We don't give a shit.
Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome back to Hall of Fame College Football with Jason and the coach. I'm your host, Jason Watkins. The coach will be along shortly. And if you love college football, you know you're in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of Hall of Fame College Football. Welcome into the show, everybody. Welcome. We will have JJ Kitchen along shortly, along with the coach. As soon as he makes it here, he's got about 1,000 things going on, I guess, right now. So we'll get right to it. Logan Licky, Rob077, David Whitehead, Scott Walker, Chicken. What's up, Chicken? Good to see everybody in here so far. I see Johnny Boy, Nathan Campbell, Bishop Frank, Seatbelt Mafia. What's up? What's up, D? Billy on? Nate? Did I already say Nate? Sooner in Texas? Who else we got? Did I miss anybody? No. Not yet. Wipe them feet. Eric Reherd, what's up, my guy? Good to see everybody in here. Welcome into the show. Yeah, man, it's been kind of a wild 24 hours. Found out yesterday after the show, actually yesterday evening, about Giovanni Gibson having a big injury, finding out more and more about it. I mean, they haven't really released what the injury is just yet, but we know it's got something to do with a broken tibia/fibula, big play weapon, at least gone for probably the early part of the season. I mean, I've heard everything from 8 to 12 weeks to 3 months to, it's been to 6 months to 8 months, So I don't know. It's if you were listening to Stoya and those guys earlier, they said early prognosis for Stoya said early prognosis being 6 to 8 months. I hate this for him. Kind of a tough deal. It's a tough deal for Sooner fans. It's a tough deal for the Sooners themselves. Kind of makes you wonder what you're going to have to end up doing as far as the portal's concerned. Maybe you got to go and find somebody. Zayas Bilou had put a couple of guys into one of the chats yesterday about a couple of guys that are, FCS type dudes again as well, but that are in the portal. I think overall, and I don't want to jump to any conclusions. I had a video that I kind of jumped to a few conclusions earlier. I didn't put it out yet. I think it's just going to be, I broke his leg. I'm starting to think Jabu put a curse on us. Yeah, well, I mean, and that's the thing. I don't want to jump to any real conclusions as far as that goes. But we know that they're kind of banged up throughout the roster as far as, it's still in the same room. So you're wondering what the hell's going on here. Are they doing too much hitting? But everything that we're hearing is that they're not. They're not taking anybody to the ground. They're not doing big hitting or anything like that. So it's kind of one of those, man, you're just damned if you do, damned if you don't. I've got some thoughts that I don't really want to throw out there because I don't want to think the worst. But I guess if you were going to have it happen, this is the only time that you want to have it happen, is because it would give you time. I don't know what's going on with Jaden Gibson. I would think that this means you really hope that he comes along, or Ivan Carrion, another big receiver, big target type of guy. I don't think either one of those guys are as explosive. You're hearing about Zion Kearney having a good spring, but he's been a little banged up as well. The other one that you're hearing a lot about is Elijah Thomas. I don't know that you can expect a true freshman to – I just don't know that you can expect them to be Jeremiah Smith or, Ryan Williams over there at Alabama or something like that in their first year, Cam Coleman. I just don't really expect that. So maybe he is, and maybe he surprises us. We are hearing amazing things about him out of there. So it's not like it couldn't happen, but it kind of is. David Whitehead, what's up, my guy? Our Moosehead, good to see you. Yeah, I don't know, man. Who broke their leg? It would be Giovanni Gibson. I don't know that it's a full-on break or which bone it is or how significant, whether it's a whole season or whether it's the early part of the season or what. What's up, Mac? Swearingen, good to see you. Whatever it is, it's a concern. It's a concern for me, and there's a couple of different concerns that are there with it. I've heard talks about, one of the things I will bring up that I was saying about in that video that I hadn't released was that I got a message from a friend of mine that was saying that, a friend of ours, a friend of the show, a former Sooner that was here at Oklahoma, had shoulder surgery today. It wasn't caught while he was here at OU. Of course, talking about Makari Vickers there at Colorado. He's apparently everything's going to be good to go and everything. I hadn't heard anything back as far as who might know anything about it, but one of my friends was telling me that was going on today. It's concerning that, I don't know what's going on in there. And then the other part, I think that really, when, talk to another creator earlier, and it was like, the thing is that there is just no transparency when it comes to coming out of there. And I understand not telling everybody everything, or the fan base doesn't have to know everything. I think that there's, at a time like this, that you probably want to keep them at least abreast of what's going on and tell them, kind of what's happening. We'll see. According to the Scoop guys earlier, they're going to be out there on Wednesday, and they're hoping to get an opportunity to talk to Coach V. But I mean, he may or may not. You know how he is about that kind of stuff, and I understand keeping some of that stuff in house and things like that. But when I don't know, man. It just seems like a tough deal. You know what I mean? Somebody grab some water from Louisiana. That's the wide receiver. Some swamp water. Go down there and get some swamp juice. It's not a bad idea. We will be okay. Let's not forget we have a serviceable quarterback throwing to him. He's going to let it rip and trust his receivers. Look, I mean, and I don't want it to just sound like I'm being doom and gloom, because that's not really who I am. And I expect that if you come to Oklahoma, chances are you're a dog. You know what I mean? And no matter what you're playing at. But offensively speaking, we've seen the best receivers in the country, aside from maybe somewhere like LSU or Ohio State, over the last, 20, 25 years. We get our fair share of them. So the expectation is that you end up with somebody. But I hate it for Giovanni because, what a great story, coming in and, coming out of the FCS. He was a quarterback in high school, and that was kind of unselfish of him. He could have, played receiver there, knowing that that's where he would have played at the next level. He played at two different levels of college, one of them being FCS last year at UAPB. Lit it up both places, and looked like he was lighting it up again. I mean, you heard Teddy talking about he looks good. And, it's just so it sucks. But the hope is that, Burke stays healthy. You get Carry-On, apparently he's a little banged up, but you hoping that he gets healthy. I'd really love to see Jaden Gibson now. I don't know what's happening there. We know he had a setback. It's just scary. It's just a scary deal. So it's, I'm hoping that whatever's going on, and if there's something going on the fields or something that, I mean, this is whatever may be happening with sports medicine, I don't know, but I want this to get unfucked yesterday, whatever it is. And I think that that's how all of us feel as Sooner fans. But it worries you a little bit. It worries you a little bit. I heard 10 out of the 13 are injured some fashion. I hadn't heard of that, but that's crazy. That's crazy if that's the case. On the bright side, a lot of people saying the O-line is looking really good. It is, which I'm excited about that as well. Yeah, I love that water elixir stuff. Third string or more talented than anybody he played with. Material be just fine. I think that the quarterback situation is better than what we could have ever expected to be. I think even if you had, something happen to Material at any point in the season, I think that Michael Hawkins is going to be ready because of the fact that he's been, by the time that all rolls around, he will have been with these guys for almost 9 months and being developed and learning the playbook and that kind of stuff. And we know he's a dynamic type of player, and he played really well in the bowl game. They didn't lose because of him. I felt, and we talked about this a lot, we felt like he should have played a lot last year when instead of Jackson Arnold. I'd love to have seen him in the Mizzou game. Hell, imagine what he'd have done in the Bama game with Jackson doing what he did. Those 2 long runs that he took off on, Michael's in the end zone on both of those, so it is what it is. But portal is opening. I think that you have to go and find another receiver or even 2. I think you have to. Knowing what we know about just yesterday, that you had injuries to. I don't know if maybe we're here getting the wrong info or what, but what one person that I know said was that he heard that Keontez Lewis was coming back. I heard that he came back and got hurt again. But he's got like a groin injury. So it's something that it's nothing going to keep him out forever. He could be big time. Sategna is another one. I think he just got a hamstring deal, somewhere along those lines. But, if you're just hearing this and, you hear 3 or 4 guys go down in one day, it makes you wonder what the hell's going on. But, yeah. Yeah, he'll be ready. Would anybody want to bring Bridges back? Bridges. Oh, really? Yeah, you know what? Maybe. And you know what? I haven't heard a whole lot from Jordan. What's his name from last year? What happened to him? Trajan Bridges. I don't know. But didn't he? What happened with Trajan Bridges? Remind me of this story. Remind me of this story. Was he the guy that was at New Mexico State? He left here. He got into a thing with BV when they got here. Is that right? Yeah, I don't know. If that's the case, I would say no. He's not coming. No, if that's the guy that I'm thinking of, no way. No way. They wouldn't do that. He went for 750 and 6 TDs where? At New Mexico State? Is that the guy I'm thinking of? Oh, robbery. Shit, no. There ain't no way that's happening. Nope. That was the dude the last year at Lincoln? Is that who we're thinking of? Shit. No, bro. They ain't doing all that. JJ's struggling. Let me see if I can get him another regenerate. Copy. I'll try this. Come on. Okay. Let's see what happened there. I don't know. He's not getting in. What is that saying? Oh, Lord. He's got something going on with his computer, not me. Dang, Gina. That ain't cool. All right. Well, we'll see what happens. Yeah, I don't know. They say he didn't. I don't know, man. But if you're involved in it, whatever it was, they're not going to put up with that shit right now. There's just no way. Timothy Green, man, it's been a while. Where you been? Good to see you, my guy. Drewski, what's up, my guy? What are you doing, man? D with Mikey Henderson, Seth McGowan. Yeah. I just don't see that going down, bro. Yeah, I don't know, man. I hate it, man. I don't know. Corporate Duck. I mean, it's starting to look like it could be. It was funny that something that somebody said earlier about It's funny, somebody was saying a little earlier about whether or not what Brent would even tell him. Oh, it was the guys on the scoop. What Brent might tell him or whatever about the injury situation. I was like, well, I don't know that I would even care what he says, because it seemed like a lot last year. We just kept hearing, oh, it's week to week. He'll be all right, whatever. And that's just where that transparency stuff comes in. You really don't know what's going on, and it's a scary thing. And I think that at some point we'd like for them to be a little more transparent with that stuff. I understand the idea of not letting your opponents know. Damn it, we're in the spring. And, it is what it is, but they're talking about it in the building as a what if. Okay. Ooh. Who did that? Oh, that's the robbery. Was that Trajan that did that? Did I catch Greg's show today? Greg who? Greg who? Up in here looking like a white-haired cousin. Hey. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm sure he'll get some time there then. It is what it is. Central Arkansas. Well, and I mean, here's the one thing that I would say. I'm not saying that nobody's against I'm not against second chances for anyone. I'm not. I could see that. I could see that going down, right? But the question is then, what is it something that he would have to definitely talk Venables and staff into that, I think, and I guess my guess is there would be other people involved in that whole deal because of what all went down. I don't know, man. I just don't see it really happening. I think it's tough. Like I said, I'm not against second chances. I think that we've shown that you give second chances to certain guys and it's worked out. So kind of, in the past it's worked. So, we'll kind of see what happens with this deal and going forward. But I think there's other guys out there that you can, but you got to go find some. But here's the thing. This is the Jim Nagy time. This is where you got to get to work. If you're Jim Nagy, go find somebody that is that dude. And so if you can do that, then I think that's what you do, right? I'm going to welcome into the show real quick, just a second. Our boy Bishop Frank. What's up there, Bishop Frank? I don't hear you.
What's good?
What up, man?
What up? Big salute, fam.
Good to see
What's
you.
going on, chat? I see you spitting fire as usual. Hit the like button on the way up.
Yup. Shawty says everybody deserves a second chance, but if you're a baller, you get a third. Fair enough. And again, I'm not against all that either. I think he would have to, and I don't think that was wasn't part of this staff, so it wasn't. He would have to prove himself to whatever, to Coach Venables and that. But here's the thing: at a time like right now, I don't know, man. It's tough to take a chance on somebody whenever you're kind of in a spot at the moment, if that makes sense. I don't know.
Yeah.
Farmer Star, and they say it wouldn't be much money. So this is going around, obviously, that they're talking about Trajan Bridges. He was a stud, but yeah, I don't know, man.
We let them make that decision. If that's the case, then hey, he definitely needs to make sure he walks the straight and narrow.
Yeah, I agree. And we'll kind of see what happens with all that. We've got 54 in this stream right here on YouTube. Got about 20 likes, I think, is what we're showing. Come on, I will shut her down. I did it yesterday. I'll do it again. Don't think I won't. Come on, hit the like button, man. Don't be a freeloader. We don't ask for money. Don't be a freeloader. So hit that like button. Yep, 22 likes. We've got 50 people in here currently just on my stream too. So we know that where it's coming from. We've already had over 150 people. So yeah.
Let's go.
That what they were saying on KREF? That was what they were talking about on KREF? Okay. I wasn't paying attention to KREF today. What's up? Yeah, Timothy, what have you been up to, man? It's been a while since I've seen you, man. Where you been? Where you been? Where you been? How you liking old Rich Rod over there with your boys? Stop threatening us. Hey, I'll leave. I'm telling you, you gotta give me some love or else I'm out. we gotta get them likes up, man. We gotta get them likes up. It ain't right to not, it's the main thing that helps us. It's a free way to help the show. Free way to help the show. Let's see. Just enjoying fresh snow, chicken? Really? Damn, in April? Man, I'm ready for all this shit to be over with. But it snowed here last weekend. It snowed here. And then 3 days later, it's 85. I'm sick of that stuff. I wish it
Hey,
just
it thunderstormed in the morning in Oklahoma, and by nighttime it snowed.
Yeah, this is kind of how it is, man. Kind of how it is. But yeah, man, I tell you, what are your thoughts about the Giovanni Gibson thing?
I hate that it happened. Now that we're starting to get a little more clarity coming out and a little more information coming out, the bottom line is we're in a prove it year, so everything is heightened. So I just wish for the young man to heal quickly, but man, we can't afford them no missteps. So I'm glad we got Arbuckle and not the previous staff.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and having a guy that knows the system and everything like that, it feels like they've been able to teach the system. But you're hearing that a lot of these guys are a little banged up, which I don't know how you got so many guys banged up if they're not taking guys to the ground, tackling, doing stuff like that, like what they're talking about. They've been saying they're not. So, and again, I understand that there's a certain level of it you got to have to get that physicality going within your team. Man, you've been here this is year 4. This team is already taking on that deal, and I want to see these guys get to the damn season. So if we are doing that, I'd ask why. I feel like that's what the hell. You know what I mean? What's up?
Yeah, no doubt.
What's up?
The reality of it is that oh yeah, he finally came in. Good. Yeah, he got an update. Coach Rick said.
Oh, right on. You got an update?
So yeah.
What do you mean? Oh, let me get him. It's coming your way, Coach Rick. It's already. I was headed to do that anyways.
Good, you understood me. You speak FDR.
Well, I was doing that before. I just seen him in there. But
awesome. But if I could be honest, Jason, how you doing that?
Speak.
What it is, man, boy, the poopy diaper syndrome of the fire test is nothing easy to go through, because understanding we see the potential. And when you see the potential and yet you're not even close to being close to that time, it just heightens the current situation.
Yeah.
So,
well, it's scary, right? I mean, because you feel like there's so much talent.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so much talent there. And I mean, I feel, as much as anything, you feel terrible for Giovanni.
Same here.
Because I mean, what a great story, for him to move his way up. I mean, he got into a little bit of trouble whenever all that stuff went down, and I understand that, but what's going on now? Oh Lord. All right, Coach, hold on. Coach is in there and waiting on one too. Son of a bitch. Coach, is my fault. Damn.
If I need to drop, I got you, bro. No bet.
Oh, I screwed. Well, we may need to in a second if it starts. If it'll depend on how it comes in, but
right.
Oh, I regenerated a new link in for JJ, and that kills the old link. So the one that I'd already sent to Coach, it's not working. So Coach Roybal. So he should be here any moment now. And I guess Coach Ricks also. So we'll see kind of what happens.
Broken bone. Someone put in the chat.
Yeah, I know it's a broken bone. I know it's a broken bone. But
Like clean break.
we don't know which one it is, or if it's both. It's tibia, fibula, whatever.
No, they haven't.
They hadn't said. I know. So let's see. All right, Coach, I'm coming to you.
Do me a favor. How you doing that, Jason? Hey, everybody in the chat, you know this is where you able to spit your fire. All we need is the price of admission. Is go ahead and hit that like button for me.
That damn like button. Sorry about that, Coach. I had to regenerate one for JJ, and he hadn't made it in yet because his computer's updating, and so I don't know. I don't know what's going on, but welcome into the show, the Coach, Philip Roybal. I know you've
Hi,
been having a
guys.
busy day today, huh?
It's been a busy one, about a 14-hour day today.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's all good. It's about taking care of the people we serve, and that's what it's about. We actually so we own 5 homes, and we have 4 people in each home that we take care of 24/7, 365, and they're all intellectually or developmentally handicapped. And so we got a grant, and we're updating the homes. Tonight we were replacing all the refrigerators, washers, dryers, uh, stoves, refrigerators. I already said that, and freezers.
Oh wow.
So that's what we were helping those guys try to get, cleaning everything out so they could get everything in. So, but we got her
Beautiful.
done.
Get her done.
Get her
Beautiful,
done,
beautiful.
fellers.
Sugoi English. Now, obviously, you know what's going on, or I don't know how much you know. You do because I sent you that other
Yeah.
link. But Giovanni Gibson getting injured. I have that. I haven't launched that video. I kind of thought better of it a little bit because I may have been a
Good.
little knee jerk there, or not necessarily a knee jerk, but I was still a little frosty about it. So,
Right.
but Sugoi here is asking, can you address rough practices? And
Yeah.
First off, I do
Absolutely.
want to say that what we're hearing is they're not having a bunch of them. I tend to wonder what that means in view of the fact that there's not just him hurt. We've heard as many as like 10 guys are banged up, so which means you're banging. But go ahead.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, guys, and I'm old school, so you're probably not going to get the sissy answer from me. Okay, let's get after their ass in practice. Last time I checked the games, nobody says, "Hey guys, we got to take it easy on each other." You're getting after people's asses, and I know you're not going to do it every day. That's common sense, but you're going to have to get after each other's ass and have tough physical workouts. You don't become physical by playing like a damn marshmallow, and so you got to get after each other. Are injuries suspect during those times? Absolutely. And injuries are going to happen at all levels of football. And I guarantee you, nobody's going to go through the off season or through the season without some injuries. We have one of our starters on the offensive line that he's done for the off season because he hurt his shoulder, had to have surgery. Guys, those are just things that happen. And what people got to understand is when you're talking about college football and you're talking about the cream of the crop athletes, guys, there's some monsters. And there's some huge collisions that are going to occur. But if you don't have those, you can't get better. So that's my whole deal. Uh, but again, I think as a coaching staff, you got to set those workouts up so that you're not beating each other up every day, all the time. So, and I think I would venture to say I think Coach Venables is a pretty damn smart guy, and so I don't see him setting it up to beat the hell out of each other every day. Injuries happen.
Yeah. Coach Ricks, I hear you in here.
What's
You
going on,
got
bro?
us? What's going on, man?
Coach,
Welcome into the show.
Not much,
We ain't
man.
got you on video. What's up, man?
I just got
there's your
in,
pretty
man.
face.
No,
Huh?
I just got in from refereeing. So,
Hey,
and
that's
I'm
cool. Wear the stripes, baby. Wear the
man,
stripes.
Oh shit! Hey,
look, I
I
am tired.
I liked you until I saw you in that shit.
Man,
I
it's
love
been a
it,
long
man.
day. Been a long day.
Welcome into the
That's
show.
what.
Looks like we lost Bishop Frank, but thanks for
Oh
coming in,
no!
man. And what's up? Obviously, I'm glad you came in for no other reason. If you don't have an update, I don't care. My thing is, I just wanted to tell you how sorry we are for Giovanni and for what happened for him to get, banged up like that. It's just
No, man,
tough situation for him, man. And his story's so cool and everything, the way he's battled into this position and looked like he was going to be
Yeah,
such a key part of this program and this year. I still think he can. I hope that he does. But the concern would be is whether or not he's going to be ready to go. Are you hearing anything? And what do you have to say?
Well, here's the worst case scenario. We are some second and third opinions are coming. Um, it is the fibula. Uh, so, like I was telling Bishop earlier, uh, praying. I mean, sometimes you don't want to pray for injuries, but if it's a break, then the surgery can happen, and the healing process can be a little bit sooner than it is if it's a fracture or anything else and everything. Because then you want to try to let it heal, and that time that you let it heal, you could probably be doing something else and everything. But a break is a little bit more something that I don't know if he really wants that and everything, or the family really wants that and everything. But a second and third opinion is coming, so we'll know a lot more down the road. But it's like I told Bishop, it's a freak accident, man. Um,
yeah.
it's we were talking in the green room and everything, me and him earlier on a couple of days, no, today, and he was like, "What can we do different to try to eliminate this?" And I'm like, "There's nothing that you can do. You can't play half-ass football. You either play football or you don't play football. Just the way it is." Uh,
I love you, man. I love you.
well, coach, that's just the way it is. You can't teach guys to be physical and then turn it on like an off and on switch
And
because
I agree
I
we
with that
just
part.
hope.
I agree with that part. I just wonder how often we needed to have tackling going on with these guys at the end of spring season. Why are we not maybe having some of the guys further down the depth chart in there getting more reps?
I told Bishop that about an hour ago. Is that but here's the thing: if there were no videos of him and John gelling, the backflips, the catching, and doing this and doing that, there wouldn't be such dismay. I think a lot of people are kind of upset because the what if. We don't get a chance to see the what if. We don't get a chance to see what we think could
Thank
happen.
you, Coach.
So it's all right now. All we're doing right now is just waiting. The waiting game is on right now. But there are other guys that's going to step up. And if those guys do step up, that is a blessing in disguise because now you can let them take a little bit longer to heal and make
Right.
sure it's right. But
Well,
but
and
to
Coach,
your point, Jason, the medical staff situation, that is a concern. So that's why the second and third opinion is coming. That was told to be, that was someone told him that needed to be done
absolutely,
on staff. That needed to be done.
absolutely.
I think that
Yeah,
that's something that
you
you
need.
should tell your players no matter what. But particularly in this situation, though, we've seen over the last year where there's been a lot of questions, and I talked earlier about Makari Vickers. Is he was having shoulder surgery today, and it was from an injury that was, according to people that I've talked to, missed here. So that being said, and I'm not, and again, I mean, we know that I'm not going to sit here and say that things aren't changing. There's the sports they're working on their sports medicine stuff and trying to get to that point. I hope that that's where they're headed, but I think that right now you can't afford to have second guessing going on, right? You just can't.
Oh, and Coach Riggs, I love your attitude, and again, football's football, and injuries are going to happen. Uh, Unfortunately, we don't get to pick, and I'm not sure it's fortunately that sounds kind of negative, but you don't know who's going to get hurt.
Nope.
It could be your fourth string running back, or it can be your starting stud.
Yeah.
And
Almost
but what I
always
liked,
the starters when they play more. You know what I mean?
what I liked about it though, what you said, Coach Ricks, is that first of all, football is not a sissy sport. You got to get after it.
Yeah.
But your attitude of we're maybe kind of glad it was a straight break. So eh, what I'm saying is you're finding the positive
Yeah.
out of what is a negative. And I think that's always crucial in these situations is, you know what? It is a negative. We all know it's a negative. It doesn't take a damn rocket scientist
Yeah.
to figure out that it's a negative. But what I loved about what you said is, you know what? It could be better that it was a break so that process starts sooner, the healing process, the surgery, the healing process. So I just love your attitude. And I know it's a heartbreaking loss. I
Well,
know
you're
that
saying that it
fans,
is the break of the fibula. Is there a time frame on it for as far as what you're hearing?
Well, from what we did online and everything, and then the doctors and everything, and I went to my I went to my physical therapist and everything that was on staff, and I asked him some of these scenarios. And from what he's saying to me was that I haven't passed on yet is if it's a break, you can have surgery on that and start treatment, start therapy and everything. You can be back by the second week of the season. That's
Wow. Oh yeah, like 12
that's
weeks. 12
that's
weeks.
yes, 8 to 12 weeks.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know,
that's what I had originally heard last night. What we heard from George Stoya a little earlier was 6 to 8 months. So I was like, whoa, that must be a little worse.
if it's 6 to 8 months, then that's a fracture
right?
Right, where
because
they're gonna have to just wait
they're
it
gonna have
out
to
and
wait
it's
and let it
gotta
heal. See,
right.
and see when you say let it heal, now it's a 50-50 thing because now you're trying to see, and we all know some bones and everything don't grow back the way they're supposed to, don't heal the way they're supposed to, and then if they don't, you get what's the word I want to use and everything, you get sidelined a little bit longer than what you thought you were going to get
Right,
sidelined.
but if you go in there and repair it and probably break it the way it needs to be broken or whatever with surgery, then it kind of spurs that healing process
That
earlier, right?
that's on the table. Like I said, there's a lot of scenarios on the table and everything. I'm pretty sure that his mom and dad
Yeah.
and everything is going to address that and handle that accordingly. I'm just going to be thinking that it's a break. So because some people don't understand when you hear break, oh my God, it's broke.
Oh
I'd
yeah.
rather it be broke than fractured
No, I broke my ankle. I know exactly what you're talking about.
because that way surgery can happen immediately. My daughter broke her growth plate when she was 12 years old. We had to immediately get her to the hospital because she was during that stage of growing, and we missed it. She's half a centimeter off on the left foot, on the left leg, because we missed it because she was during that growth plate stage of growing. So
Mhm.
thank God that the surgery happened because if we would have tried to wait and it was a fracture and everything, let it wait, it'd have been worse. So
Worse.
sometimes a break is good. Some people think it's a negative thing and it's a bad thing, but it's not. So we need to educate ourselves a little bit more on this because the first thing my wife thought, she started crying. She thought, "Oh, he broke the leg," and I'm like, "Okay, that's a good thing sometimes, but not a bad thing.
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. I had a broken ankle when I was a junior in high school, and it was better that it. I had a friend that had sprained it really bad, right, or just had a small fracture, and it it had taken a year out of his life. I was back in like 4 months, a little over 4 months. So I know what you're saying.
Yeah. Yep. So other than that, man, that is it. That's all I had. I was calling Bishop on the way home from the ball game and everything, and he was, praying for him and everything, man. So like I said, that's all that we can do
Yeah,
right
that's
now,
all we
man.
can. And I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
again, I think that, but I also would want to say this. I think that us here, especially on this channel, we feel like we're close to the kid because of you, and because of the fact that when Marcus Dent brought him up of being one of those guys, you ended up on the show later that day. You guys are talking about my nephew, you know what I mean? And
He
so
still talks about that, man. He still talks about that day, man. I think that he really, really uh, wants to thank and hug Mr. Dent because I think that he would have made a hasty decision and went somewhere else if he didn't think that he. I don't think he understood how good he was. Some people don't know how good they are,
right.
but others tell you
Well, they
how good
hadn't
you
he
are.
hadn't had a bunch of interest yet,
No,
so he did.
no,
How would he know? You know what
no,
I mean?
no.
Yeah, I
But
get
to
it.
be in a place like Oklahoma, so it's really killing him right now, man, because he has certain games circled that he wanted. He had certain people that he wanted to play,
Facts.
and so I think that what is what's hurting him more right now and everything is that the that Texas game. He wants to play that game more than anything in life.
Yeah. Well,
But
sounds like he could. Sounds like he could. That's week 6.
Yeah,
guys, we all of us believe in the good Lord in this group here,
Absolutely.
and you know what? We all know that things happen for a reason sometimes.
He don't make
And
mistakes.
so, well, not sometimes, all the time. Things happen for a reason.
hmm
And we here believe it's the worst thing in the world, worst thing that could happen. But when it comes out at the end, we figure out that, you know what? I know why this happened.
yeah,
And God put me on this path for this to happen.
Right.
And so, but it's hard. I get it. It's hard. I mean, if you're a kid and you get hurt like that, golly, your whole world just kind of collapses on you. And even with parents and fans. But at the end of the day, I truly believe something really good's going to come out of this. And so we just got to keep praying and we'll all be in that boat as far as praying and hoping that things come out the way they need to.
yeah,
So
Yeah.
again, it's
No, I
tough.
agree. And I think you're right. I think that I was actually talking about this with somebody the other day, is that God doesn't make mistakes. We know that. He doesn't
no,
make mistakes. So if whatever this is, and whatever his journey is, selfishly for us as Oklahoma fans, we wanted to see him on the field, I think, because we know that, damn it, after last year and what we saw and the way the offense didn't perform, you wanted to see a kid like that. I mean, when you're out there doing backflips, like you said, Coach, I mean, shit, he's out there doing backflips. I mean, we want to see some of that shit on Saturdays. But that being said, it's not about. I mean, it's certainly it's a hell. If for as hard as it may be for Oklahoma fans, it's a lot harder for the kid right now.
yeah,
And I think that we got to keep that in mind and realize that, you know, if it wasn't him, it could be somebody. You never know who it's going to be. And look, I think we talked about this the other day. You're gonna need that depth there,
yeah,
no matter what. And because somebody's gonna get banged up. And guess what? It's almost always the starters because they're the ones on the fucking field.
yeah.
You know?
Well,
Hey guys,
and
before
I'm
y'all
like,
get started, I gotta get ready to get off. I just wanted to get on. I just got home. I gotta go eat. I gotta go take a shower. I gotta get in bed. But I wanted to
All
say
right.
one more thing
Appreciate you.
before I leave. Uh, I can give you this little nugget. Uh, the person who cried the most when he broke his leg, John Mateer, cried more than when he broke his
wow,
leg and
wow.
everything. So that lets you know what type of leader, man, that we got in Oklahoma. To know that he was in tears and everything, man, when JJ broke his leg.
Wow.
That's
So,
pretty awesome.
you
Man,
guys, man, have a good one.
thank you for that.
Out.
Appreciate you, Coach.
Hey,
Hey,
get
man.
the rest, brother. We'll talk to you tomorrow, man. Let me know if you need anything.
I will, man.
Love you,
Y'all have
brother.
a good one, man. Hey, guys, y'all have a
Hey,
good one, man.
hey.
Hey, support.
Hey,
Yes,
Coach,
yes, sir.
go get that shit off.
Hey, you keep on. I'll pull my flag out and give you a penalty.
Flag on the play. Flag on the play. Break went. Break went.
Y'all have a good one, man.
Love you, man.
Love you,
right.
man. We'll
All
talk
right,
to
love
you
you,
later.
bro.
Coach Ricks from the Coach Ricks Network. Appreciate him coming on, talking to us a little bit about that. And that's actually doesn't surprise me to hear. So I mean, usually it's those guys that they've struck a bond, Mateer and those guys.
Sure.
That's pretty awesome, right?
Jason, another bunch. We've talked about the kid. We've talked about the parents. We've talked about the fans. But we also need to keep the coaches in our prayers for this too, because I mean, there's not a frigging coach that's out there saying like, "Shit, I hope he gets hurt," or we're trying to get him hurt. And they it's as tough on them as it is anybody, because they got a guy that is a great one that's possibly could miss a couple of games and maybe could miss a season. We don't know at this
Absolutely,
juncture.
absolutely.
So, but I think we need to keep them in
Well,
our
and Coach,
in
and I
our
mean,
prayers
we
and
start
thoughts.
talking about Coach Venables. He's not in the easiest of situations right now. He's in a situation
Nope.
where he's got to win some games and stuff. But Richie Dubs, thank you, man. He said no idea why this popped up on my feed as a Buckeye fan. Oklahoma by 1 million in week 2. As an Oklahoma fan, Buckeyes by 1 million in week 1 against Texas. So let me throw. Let's just before you go,
Put
and
in work
we'll
on
throw
them.
these down. But this is what we throw up there for when we start talking about Texas.
The brand has finally returned. Fuck your brand.
F Texas. Yeah, there we go. Appreciate that. What's up, BL Web? Hate to say it, but you look better in quality of stream on this platform. And that's you from so BL Web is on from Rumble. Appreciate you showing up and supporting us there from Rumble. We appreciate that, man. We're not share us with everybody over there. We hadn't gotten a ton of followers just yet, but you know what? There's a couple of shows that kill it over there. I'm a fan of the Game On show. Those dudes are a trip, and they're a lot of fun, man. Oh, it's Ryman Lemon. I forgot. Okay. Hey, well,
I
appreciate it.
Ryman
Don't
Lemon.
be a Texas fan. No, Richie Dubs is a Buckeye fan, and he was saying Oklahoma by 1 million in week 2. They're chicken, and so we were saying, well, as Oklahoma fans, I was just letting you know kind of what we throw up there for those dudes. Bevo got the herpes. I love it. So, our boy D is crazy, man. I love that stuff. Is Rumble similar to Twitch? No, it's more similar to YouTube. It's more similar to YouTube. I think it's a lot more conservative for sure. It's definitely more of a conservative platform. That's really where all the conservatives hang out the most, I think.
not for me.
I don't either. And honestly, I rarely go on. I mean, I've been going on it because I've been trying to put the stream on there and I check on it and stuff like that. But it's
Right.
a lot of shows that I'm not familiar with. So but it seems very conservative. There's the reason that we put the stream over there was because number one, the shadow ban bullshit that we've been going through. But the other part being is we've heard that it's easier to get a foothold because there's not a ton of content. There's not a ton of creators there. So if we could get a foothold there, it might be a platform where we could grow. And just like Lehman's saying it here, every platform that we can get on, the better.
Yeah.
Your shit up. It won't hurt. It won't hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Right.
so do we, man. So do we.
Yeah. Us independents, we just flow.
Hey man, and we're playing on Twitter as well. We've got 14 people on Twitter right now. We've got 52 in the in our stream on YouTube. So make sure that you are hitting that like button on YouTube. Hit that like button wherever you are. and share the stream if you can. We'd appreciate it, man.
Appreciate you, Kimberly K.
Important. And thank you, Kimberly K.
Kimberly K.
Kimberly K. She's been back at it. She's been here a lot. There. Hope we snag a couple in the portal. Yeah. Hey, but what we were just talking about was what Coach Rick said on his way out there was that John Mateer was a lot more broken up about what happened to Giovanni than Giovanni was. So that's it's good. It's that they've built a bond, and man, it's just tough for him. I think I feel worse for the kid than I feel for any of us. So because we have to. But I do think that, listen, this is the game and it's next man up. And I think that they've got guys that they brought in aside from that you can expect some things from. I would not be surprised to go to see, listen, this is why you go and get a guy like Jim Nagy, that he can go and put his feelers out there to the people that he knows and see who's available and see what we can drum up. So it'd be good to get another guy, if for nothing else, then for depth purposes, right? I mean, because you just don't know, man. You just don't know. But
competitive depth.
But just to piggyback off of Coach Roybal is everything happens for a reason, and so this might be Jim Nagy's moment to show, hey, y'all brought me here. Let me do my thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think that, he was, I know from what I understand, he hasn't had he's not getting in the way of recruiting. And I think that something he talked about in one of his earliest press conferences was how he doesn't ever want to have to he doesn't want to tell coaches no about players or anything like that. Never. But that doesn't mean that he's not going to have, and he's probably doing a lot of figuring out kind of where they are and what they think. But I don't think that you have a whole lot of guys there's not a lot of dead weight on this roster. That's something that Chris Mason's talked about a lot, that you don't have a lot of guys that you're just like, I don't know why he's here. You know what I mean? And I think that there's some programs that you're going to see that it's just like, it's a walk-on, this or that. Even our walk-ons are dudes. You know what I mean? So it's just, this is the kind of program that's kind of at. Again, I would say, would it surprise you if the next guy steps up? No. Why? Because it's Oklahoma, for fuck's sake. You know what I mean? It's Oklahoma. So, you have to expect that they're, Keontez Lewis, absolutely, Coach Ricks. I think you're right on that. He's been going through a groin injury from what I understand. So a groin, and I mean, those are one of those things that you just got to heal, let that sucker heal. So the summer will be good for him on that. We'll kind of see. Yes. Seatbelt Mafia says, start tampering with LSU. Hey, go find their guy that's like way down the depth chart or whatever that's from the area, from running LSU in the area. And he's probably, their next 2-star, All-American kind of guy.
The blessing in disguise for me is that we got Arbuckle and we have a foundation that we know, where last year we didn't have a foundation and we also had injuries. So the key is being thankful that we do have someone in place that he's not going to, he's going to dig deep to make sure we're ready for that first game.
Yeah, I think so. And we've heard a lot of really good things. I mean, you don't want to really depend on a freshman, but we've heard nothing but really good things about Elijah Thomas. Same thing. I've heard a lot of good stuff about Manny Choice as well. So I think that, I think they're going to be okay. I was a lot more concerned. I think talking and having this conversation has been good. But let's talk about some other stuff going around. And I was hoping we were going to get JJ. But it looks, and he had something wrong with his computer, so we're waiting on him still. It said it may have been an hour or whatever. It's been almost an hour, so maybe we still do get him for a little while.
Okay.
But I don't know if he's going to be able to, but if we do, it'd be cool. But something we hadn't really brought up is, you've got, and I've heard a couple of different people say different things, but Coach, I wanted to ask you what you thought about this too. But now that you have, it is more of an NFL model. You're doing this NFL thing. What do you think about Belichick at Carolina? And can he? I mean, obviously, I think a lot of kids are going to automatically look to go play for him because of the fact that he's won Super Bowls and he can possibly help them be NFL type of guys. What are your thoughts about that, though? I guess would be my question.
Number one, I don't give a shit about Belichick. But number two,
And I know
I
that was going
think
to be the first thing out of your mouth.
but I tell you what, I know he's won a lot of Super Bowls, but I don't think he's got Tom Brady for a quarterback. I we saw that he, as a coach, he wasn't superhuman down the last several years here.
Yeah.
And I'm not, and I know we're going to an NFL model,
Yeah.
but I don't think that makes him any better of a coach or helps him in any way just because he does know the NFL model. Because I think if you look across all the really good football teams, whether excuse me, whether their head coaches have been in the NFL, my man.
What's going
Check
on,
it
fellas?
out. It's our
What's
boy,
going on?
JJ. Talking
But
college
going
football
on?
with JJ Kitchen. Our
Kitchen.
buddy. Man, where the hell you been?
Dude, busted my ass at work, brother. It's been wild. I can tell you
Hey.
this. My nights are long.
I second that, brother.
Yeah.
But
It's good to be back though, fellas.
It's good having you back.
Man, it's good to see you.
But to finish what I was saying on that note on Belichick, all these good football teams, they've got people, and some of them are not now hiring GMs that know the NFL model well. There's too many things leading to the fact that I don't think it gives Belichick a
Advantage
at all. And
Okay.
again, I think there's a lot of college football coaches that are a hell of a lot better football coaches than Belichick. I you know what? I don't think, like I said,
I get okay. And listen, I wanted your opinion. I guess my question, one of the things that the reason I even brought it up, and JJ, I'll send this to you real quick. If you watch the pivot podcast about a month or so ago, whenever Saban was on there, and they were talking to him about what Belichick had said about him as a coach and how good a coach he was and all that kind of stuff, and how Belichick was saying he had learned a lot from Nick. And Nick talked about that. Well, I appreciate that he said that, but the first thing he said is our way of evaluating talent is him. It's what we go by, what he wanted in players. That's our way. Those are the guys that we bring into our program. They go that size, that speed, that this kind of person, whatever. That it's all on the model that Belichick had. So if that fed over into Nick Saban's, and helped him to be what he was. Now we also know that what some of that was too, but the kind of kid that he's going to be going after, and you being an ACC guy, where do you think he's at right now?
To be quite honest with you, I think it's a pretty interesting development in college football right now, where you're seeing a guy like Bill Belichick. Frank Reich just became the interim head coach at Stanford. You're seeing more of those NFL guys, but to coach's point, in the NFL, Bill Belichick is the greatest head football coach of all time. But when you come to the college level, I think it'll be an easier transition for him because where we're going in college athletics is this was 10 years ago. I
Sure.
don't think Bill Belichick succeeds in the
I don't
college
even
level.
think he's here if it was 10 years ago, right?
Exactly. And you got Mike Lombardi, who's a tremendous general manager. They have the system set up to what they need it to be. The question is now is what does it look like in terms of, is it, he's going to run his pro style offense that he normally runs. He'll run 11 personnel, 12 personnel. He'll do what he usually does, like what he has in the National Football League. He's acquired talent, but now what does that look like on a scale of, okay, he's using now a general manager to understand which spots cost the most. Revenue sharing is going to start here more than likely in a couple of weeks after everything goes through with the court system, everything goes through. But now the factor goes into, okay, the glamour's there. They're spending 20 that they're, I think right now, I think the number of my buddies, a director of player personnel down at North Carolina, he said between the whole entire staff, the support staff, everything, they're roughly spending around $22 million just on coaching. It's been crazy to see what they're spending down at North Carolina. They're going all in. I think that he's got a very good chance to succeed. And I think this is because you're watching the college game go towards more of a professional style.
Right.
I wanted to see Coach Prime face off with Fran Brown in a basically an exhibition game during the spring season. I understand why the NCAA declined it because it would be unfair.
I don't really understand why they declined it, but I get what you're saying.
They declined it because Fran Brown talked about it, and a good friend of mine's the wide receiver coach there, and he said the reason they declined it, and it kind of makes sense, we can't argue with it, is because it's a what they call it, it's an uncompetitive advantage to where they're allowed to have a spring game against another team, and other teams wouldn't be able to have time to do it. So what's going to happen is next year, from what Fran Brown was telling people, my buddy Underwood that's up at Syracuse, they said next year every team across college football will have a spring game against another team, and they'll be able to choose who they want to do that with. They'll have every other team in college football will have that opportunity, which personally I like. I think it's more important.
No, I like that too. We've been talking about not getting rid of spring games anyway, which we didn't like it that OU did. But yeah. I don't mind seeing them. I think there's a lot of ways you can go about it. I don't think you even have to stick with Power 5 or anything like that. I think that you can help some of these programs that that aren't going to make that money that they normally would.
Exactly. You could pay a school to go up there, whether it's the FCS, Division I AA, the Group of Five. You can work with that. And I think that Bill Belichick falls in line with that. They have an idea of what they want to do. They have a structure of what they want to do.
They were kind of the first ones to do that in the NFL, weren't they?
Yeah. And it's crazy. He's going through the huge development of what that next stage is. I think, in my personal opinion, I understand his dad coached at North Carolina, but in heart of hearts, he wanted to stay in the National Football League. I heard through numerous people he wanted to stay in the NFL, but the NFL didn't want him. That was the difference. And you saw the game pass him by. I think it's going to be a good transition for him. But the question now becomes, can he take that NFL style of running an organization to now running it in the college game? I think he's got a chance to be successful, but I can totally understand why it would not work out. But I think with the game, the way it's going, the way the college game is moving towards a pro model, I think he's got a very big chance to succeed. I really do. And the general manager portion of college athletics, again, you guys got down at Oklahoma, Jason. You guys got my boy Nagy out of the Senior Bowl, man. I love that, man. He's incredible. You want to talk about absolutely incredible at developing and acquiring talent and understanding which guys are good? Shit, man. I think he's going to be a hell of a player down there. He's getting paid what he should be getting paid, and I'm beyond happy for him. And that's a home run hire. I mean, I think
he's a home run hire too. And like it's similar to what we saw with Notre Dame. That was the reason that the reason I brought it up. Now I definitely understand what Coach is saying, and actually that's what BYU football is similar to saying. It's easy to point out the flaws in athletes as a professional, is what he's saying. Is he able to fix them or develop them? I don't know. I don't think that he can at the college level. You're never knowing until you you find out. And I also would say that maybe this rejuvenates him a little bit. I do know that what he was trying to do, it feels like to me what he's trying to do is get his son a head coaching job.
Yeah. He's basically head coach in waiting. I mean, at this point, if this works out, he's the head coach in waiting at this point. And I think that was kind of the plan around this. He's kind of, because basically the way that I looked at it, it was this. I understand the hire, what they're trying to do at North Carolina, but at the same time, you basically hired another Mac Brown. I mean, he's the same exact age. They're in the same realm. I mean, I personally didn't understand it, but then in the fact that he brought his sons on, it's clearly a 2-year transition position, and then if this works out, his son's going to get that head coaching job, and it's kind of in
I
line with
can
that.
see that. And you know, I don't know what I necessarily think about that, but I know that his son was becoming a pretty decent coach or whatever. Billion, you're talking Bedlam for the spring game. You know what's coming.
Yeah.
There ain't no fucking way that we
You
give
know-
him that damn game for free. No. You got to put some skin in the game, Gundy, or kiss my ass. No.
You know, back to Belichick, I don't think, this is me personally, just an opinion. And we all know opinions are like assholes, and everybody's got one.
Well, I wanted
And
to.
they
I
all
mean, didn't
stink.
expect everybody to have the same opinion on this at all.
But I'm telling you, I don't think Belichick can relate to the college football player.
He had a college girlfriend, bro. He's got him a college girlfriend. That's all I'm gonna say.
Well, just because you're fucking one doesn't mean you can get along with the football players. But I'm just saying that I don't think, because he had a hard time, guys. Let's be honest. He had a hard time relating with his players in the NFL.
Yeah. He was getting
and
there.
So
It was kind of passing him by a little bit, wasn't it?
Yeah. And again, and I'm going to say this one more time. How great a coach is he? Obviously, a pretty damn good one because he won a lot of ball games. But he also had Tom Brady. He doesn't have Tom Brady now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'll leave it at
that. Here come the shots fired from Coach. Love it, man.
I got shot.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. It's an Oklahoma tradition to play an actual Bedlam game where, you know, not this, we're going to thud up. We're not going to go live ever. No, that's not. No.
Jason, I'm with you on that, man. I think that should be, you look at the way the schedules are all lined up. If they really wanted to play that game and they wanted to play Bedlam, I got news for you. I know Brent Venables. He would never back down from that shit. He would make sure that non-conference schedule, they'd get that game on there. That's a Mike Gundy thing, and you know, I've got my discrepancies on that, and I've called that the way it is. Some people don't want to listen to it, don't want to understand that. I call it the way it is.
Pisses off Okie Light fans for sure. It definitely pisses off, but it's the facts. And Coach Roybal and I got them really pissed off in Okie Light land out in Stillwater at Big 12 Media Days a few years ago when we got him all lathered up about it.
Yeah.
You know, he's all bitching and moaning about it. You know, all Oklahoma had to do was not go to the SEC if they wanted to play. No, we know what it really is. You're 4-15.
Yeah. And at the end of the day,
and that's why they want to play it as a spring. That's why they want to play it as a spring game, because it don't go on their record.
Yeah, it won't.
It's not another.
No more blood.
Not another
no more blood.
ass whooping. Yeah, not another ass whooping.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, too, I think it's just utter stupidity on their end because, one, it helps their viewership. It's a rivalry game. I mean, like I'm very big on that stuff too. I'm big on the Pitt West Virginia game. Pitt and Penn State should be facing each other, and Penn State doesn't want to face Pitt. I mean, I'm big on rivalries. College football,
dude, and
no matter how much it changes, college football is based on rivalries, and people want to see a heated game. They want to see a heart-to-heart game. We're seeing so much in terms of no more regional rivalries anymore. When you have those games on the schedule, it truly is. It truly is the prime time game of the day. People are watching that game, and the numbers and the viewership prove it. You know, I understand with the conference realignment stuff that's going on. You know, whatever. But at the end of the day, when you have those rivalries, you are embracing the college game and you're bringing more viewers to the game. Because a lot of these games, people don't give a shit. I mean, you know, there's no hatred towards some of these schools. They're like buddy. They're kind of giving each other high fives.
In the NFL, there's some hatred in the NFL, right? But college football is built on tradition and hate.
Yeah, and it's funny is you even mentioned that, like. When here in Pittsburgh, when the Steelers faced the Baltimore Ravens, I mean, it's one of the most physical games of the year, and the game sold out. The tailgates are nuts. I mean, you have 65 to 70,000 people in Acrisure Stadium. It's a different vibe. In college football, that's like times 10 because you have that one game a year where you have to beat that school because that's a school. It's not another organization out there. It's another rivalry. It's another university that you can't stand. You can't stand them, and they can't stand you. It's prime time. I mean, it's either put up or shut up. and it truly means more. The pageantry of college football. That's why I'm a college football guy. I love the pageantry. I love the bands that are there. I love the barking back and forth. I love the physical attributes of the game. I mean,
I like the
there's just so much
cheerleaders.
back and forth. Yeah, the cheerleaders are good. And I'll tell you what. I told them we'll have a party afterwards.
Hey, JJ, can you also call Lincoln Riley and tell him don't be a puss because we're about to hit 100 years in our rivalry and he wants to get out of it?
Well, yeah, you know what? Actually, Lincoln Riley actually won for the first time ever, won Cocksucker of the Year. So congratulations to him. I'll tell you what, fucking Jagoff. I can't stand that guy. I mean, I can't wait till he gets fired.
Hey, how do you feel about Lincoln?
Jagoff of the Year.
Let's go, JJ.
Seriously, I can't fucking stand him. I can't stand him. He's the sleaziest, and it's any coach I talk to. It's not like it's like a personal opinion, like where I've watched
Right.
at the Addis stuff with Pitt. It's the fact that I know coaches who have told me he's an asshole, and he's still.
Matt.
And guess what? Whether it's Oklahoma or anywhere else, he cannot coach defense. It doesn't matter who's there. He can't coach offense now. And now he's in Southern California where guys have so many other things to do besides football. He can't control it. The guy's a jagoff. I mean, he's totally a fraud. He's a fake individual. He doesn't care about the players. I mean, he only cares about himself. He's getting paid a bag. He doesn't care. He doesn't care. So I'm sorry, man. I can't stand the guy. I think that's what's wrong with college athletics.
That's a
fact. Amen, brother. You're in the right room.
Damn, Skippy. There ain't no love lost for old stinking Lincoln in here, for damn sure. He's a fraud. He's a fraud. Hey, look, hey, you said it. You said it perfect. We don't have to mess with that any. But no, I want to go back to the rivalry stuff. The problem with what's going to happen, I think that the biggest thing that you're seeing in with this realignment stuff, and the concern that I have, is that it is more of these things going away, more rivalries going away, because if you only get and I'm still of the belief, I sent you that column. I know you read it, and I appreciated you sharing that too. But the thing I talked about is you cannot be cutting out 3/4 of the country from this system, right? And expect it to continue being the golden goose, because it's not gonna be. But with that comes with, you cannot continue. I was always a big fan of Matt Rule until I started hearing what he was saying about, well, why would I continue? Why would I play an Oklahoma game? Why would I play those 2 games against Tennessee when I got to deal with what I got to deal with in the Big Ten? Are you fucking joking me? You're at Nebraska, dude.
No, in Nebraska, what have they done in the past? What they had their first
It doesn't matter. You're still a blue blood. You don't walk away from any fight. Yeah. And it's Oklahoma, which is one of your biggest rivals. So there's no way you should say no to that game ever.
Well, that tells me he's scared. That tells me you can't say anything else, but besides you're scared.
That's the reason that Lincoln doesn't want to play Notre Dame anymore. It's not because they play a tough schedule. It's because he don't want to get his ass kicked anymore.
Marcus Freeman would own that entire series. I guarantee you, if they play 10 times out of 10, he probably wins 9 or 10.
Yeah.
I mean,
he lost that person he beat the shit out of him in the last 2 years.
That's what we like to call in relative terms. It's called belt to ass. That's what that's called.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the number one recruiting class right now, because they have like 12 more recruits than everybody else that have already committed to them, and they're still not in there yet. You still got their class average, which, by the way, that on this show I don't give a shit about recruiting rankings.
Yeah,
I don't.
Yeah. Because the transfer portal changes everything. The transfer portal has taken over recruiting to where you could have a top 5 recruiting class in 2020 and 2022. If half that class is gone, what does it matter anymore? So I mean, at the end of the day, it's almost like each year your team is graded like the NFL each year. It's pretty much free agency. You're grading each individual team based on the actual roster of that year. That's that simple.
Right. Exactly. And what you start with, what they have right now, that doesn't mean they're going to be signing that letter.
They were number 1 in the country this time last year too. They ended up 15th.
Yeah. So and hey, where did he go to hire his GM, guys? The people that were kicking his ass.
Yeah.
He went to Notre Dame and got Chad Bowden.
And I'm kind of shocked, to be honest with you. I mean, knowing that whole situation, I'm kind of shocked he left. And I understand money purposes and whatnot, but I'll tell you what, that's a sinking ship. I mean, if you want to, I didn't, it's different
He
when you
made a
go to
mistake.
yeah, when you it's different when you go to like a bigger ship and a nicer ship
Yeah.
that's going to hit the water and get going.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you jump off one ship and head onto the Titanic. That's not really cool. That's not how it goes really well. It's called a sinking ship.
And I tell you, I think what happened to Chad, I think that he was told that he wasn't going to be the GM, and he bolted, and good for him. Now I tell you what, guys, he's been talking a lot of shit.
Yeah.
About Notre Dame too.
That's beautiful, though. That's beautiful.
Oh, it is beautiful.
Break up the fucking rivalry. Let's go.
Yeah, that's what I love.
I was gonna say because they're on the schedule next year.
Shit.
Yeah.
And I tell you another thing that's interesting from Notre Dame's perspective, guys, is that when Bowden started talking shit, we've offered more people in California than we ever have. And it's basically drawing a line in the sand because Bowden, he's saying what he's saying is we're going to keep our people from California at USC. And Notre Dame's basically saying, hey, screw you. We're going to come into your back door. Not only do we kick your ass, but we're going to come into your back door and we're going to take your kids from you too. So we'll see.
Well, then I tell you though, I'm surprising that they went and got somebody to do that because they haven't been getting California. Oregon owns the state of California right now.
Yeah.
Oregon and Alabama actually.
Yeah,
you're right.
Killing it there.
You're right.
So for him to even, I mean, that's what you better be doing if you're USC. Like, and you've heard their fans have been throwing a shit fit about it. That it's like, hey man, we've got to make sure that we're winning because you have to win your state. You have to win your state.
Except for our boy USC Jay, he's big on Lincoln. And I love him. But
he's big on USC. He believes in what Jen and them. He believes in that defensive staff, and he's trying to be. Yeah, he's a little delusional about Lincoln sometimes.
Yeah,
but I think that he's more believing in what they're doing on the other side. Danton Lynn, Coach Henderson.
Right. Danton Lynn's doing a great job.
Yeah, they just brought in one of the Ryan brothers. They've done a good job as far as defensive guys. I don't know how much that necessarily helps, but they've done pretty good on that defensive side of the ball and who they brought in.
Well, from where they used to be.
Matt Ince was there until last year. Matt Ince was there, and he just took the Fresno State job. So, I think they've done a good job as far as that's concerned. But the thing is Lincoln going to he still hasn't put a complimentary offense out there yet.
And he won't.
Yeah, I still don't know that he ever will. I don't know that he ever will. I think
the game passed him by. The college game has passed him by in terms of how to put together a roster, understanding your spending
limits. He never knew what that was. It wasn't that it passed him by.
He was on the coattails of people. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, think about it, JJ. He came in and he had the recruiting machine was running.
Stoops helped. Yeah, Stoops did everything for him. Yeah.
Yeah. So he didn't have to hire coaches. He didn't have to do, a little at a time, but he never, it got progressively worse year after year at OU.
Yeah.
Then he leaves because he didn't want shit to do with the SEC. They're beating the hell out of him every time they got to the playoff. And which the only reason they got to the playoffs is because the Big 12 was dog shit at that point, including Texas. When the next best team is Baylor. Yeah. And so it made him look a lot better than what he was.
Yeah.
Now he's had to go, and even with the Heisman Trophy winner, they couldn't beat Utah. That year they didn't play Washington or Oregon. And so it looked really good. Since then, 7-5, 6-6. Because he's had to build it up. And
which have been predicted here.
Yeah.
Which have been predicted here.
Both. Yep. Yeah, both of them.
Yep. I can tell you this too. His teams are not built for the Big Ten. I'll tell you what, out West, the premier program out West right now, and it will be for a long period of time, is Oregon. That's the premier program out West. But when you look at overall how Lincoln wants to play versus how the Big Ten plays, especially when October, November, and December come around. He's not built for that. He has no idea how to adjust. He's completely mismanaged the quarterback position. I think he's had some great quarterbacks that were there.
He's had some great ones.
And he can't develop them. And I think Miller Moss is going to be a stud at Louisville with Jeff Brom. I think he's a tremendous quarterback coach and offensive coordinator. He's a stud down there.
He waited too long to pull the plug there last year and go to the other kid because the other kid is dynamic in ways. You know what I mean? He kept.
He is.
He can play, man. He can play.
He's gonna fuck that up. He'll fuck that up though.
Well, I mean, we haven't seen it. We haven't seen him doing very well with it lately. So I don't know. I mean, I tend to believe he still knows what he's doing at that. I still think he's one of the best play callers in the world, but he hasn't been the last couple of years. And I think that all those other things that of being a head coach that he never really had to do before is now catching up with him. And if it wasn't for that contract, his ass wouldn't already be there.
Yeah. Yeah, they can't afford to fire him.
No, they owed him $80 million or some shit.
Yeah, he ain't going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, I don't think.
Hey, he's got a cakewalk, guys.
Yeah.
And like JJ said, he doesn't give a damn about anybody but himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
From any coach I've ever talked to, that's the first thing they say. He doesn't care about anybody but himself. He's in that building for himself. It doesn't matter. You work for him. You don't work with him. How he treats his players. There's just so much stuff I've heard about that guy.
I mean, they stole your Biletnikoff receiver that first year he was there at SC.
Yeah, and what kills me though is they offered him $3.5 million to play there, and he only got paid $725,000. He made more at Pitt. He's just such a shitbag, man.
And they wonder why he didn't go play in the bowl game. You know what I mean? Like
those injuries, he wasn't hurt. I can tell people this right now. He wasn't hurt.
No.
When you're not getting paid and you were offered a certain amount of cash to go there and play,
you gave me 10%
of
what you get, 20% of what you were supposed to give me. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, yeah. Hit the road, Willis.
Dude, yeah. Come on, man. And he took care of Caleb, but I think that Caleb hurt him. That second year, the way that he was freelancing as much as he was, and all that kind of stuff, dude. That was a deal that it didn't go well for them. And I don't think that you'll hear USCJ talking about that it was that he wasn't controlling. Well, that's your damn football team, man. That is your football team. How is it that you don't, figure that one out? But yeah, I don't know how we ended up there, but
Coach Powers, by the way, in the comment section, Coach Bates, Coach Manilak, Powers, I agree, man. They're doing a hell of a job in recruiting, and Sam Kukura, who's in our recruiting department, has done a hell of a job too, man. They do a great job. I'm glad to see you have that comment in there because they don't get enough credit.
This is Reggie Powers' dad. He's Oklahoma Cheetah / safety.
Really?
He's been on the show some. Yeah. So this Reggie Powers Jr. here. Reggie Powers III plays at OU. We need to get you back on the show. Hey, if you want to come back on tomorrow, Big Reg, we'd be happy to have you in the morning.
Yeah, I can tell you this. That's good to hear because those guys, Coach Manilak, he's had four All-Americans 4 years in a row now at the linebacker position, all because he recruited those guys and developed those guys. And they're just it's another level right now with what they're doing at Pitt at the linebacker position that we haven't seen
on the defensive side, brother.
Yeah,
they get it done.
Unreal.
I guess that would be my. What's up with where's Pitt headed right now? I mean, I know that you started off real hot last year. Your quarterback was in good shape. Lost him, and it kind of went the other way.
Yeah, and I think right now that the biggest thing is they got to stay healthy. They've added more depth, but what you want to see from last year to this year, one, stay healthy. We had offensive line injuries, we had quarterback injuries, wide receiver injuries. You got to stay healthy. Number one. Number two, the depth is important. Those guys got to produce at a high level. But also number three, it's the coaching as well. There were certain games during that season where it was coached up very well. Against perfect prime example, Virginia. They should have beat Virginia. They lost to Virginia. They had Clemson down to the last drive of the game, and they lost to Clemson. Those are 2 wins they should have had there to finish 9-3. So overall, they have their quarterback. They've certainly paid him enough money, over $2 million. They've done a good job of retaining talent. They brought more people in. I love what they did in the transfer portal. They brought in Andy Jean, 4-star transfer from Florida at wide receiver. Deuce Spann, 4-star receiver from Florida State. They added offensive line talent from Michigan. I mean, they did a really good job overall by adding people. Now it's time to go out there and execute. I think the potential's there and the talent's there, but like anything else in the world, everything looks great on paper, but guess what? You got to go play the football games. And I think that those guys, they have it, but guess what? You got to go prove it first. So we'll see. It's there, but you got to prove it. That's what it comes down to.
No doubt. No doubt about it. Sooner Cherry Bears celebrating 15 months of membership as a Hall of Fame college football member. Man, we appreciate you, Cherry Bear, man. You one of my guys. Appreciate you a bunch. Hey, if you want to become a member, it's easy to do. You can right there next to the like button, which is, we need you to do that anyway. You can become a member. It's as low as $2.99 a month. That's less than a cup of coffee. Get you into our Discord, which is pretty lively. Matter of fact, I may actually put that video up just for members only, just because of the fact that then you can hear what I really thought today if you're a member only. But you got to become a member to do it. And then, so it's right there next to the deal. You can pop out, do that. Just be at $2.99. It'll get you benefits like members only content. We've got our special emojis like the horns down emoji, some of that other kind of stuff, and gives you access to some of our other stuff as far as members only stuff, which we appreciate. And it certainly helps our channel out tremendously. So we appreciate that a lot. Yeah, man. Let's see. So what were we just saying? Yeah, Lincoln Riley's never coming back to Oklahoma. Never. He ain't got the balls.
Yeah.
There would never be even if they would hire him, which they wouldn't. When his staff was recruiting for USC while he was still at Oklahoma, and we're talking about as early as Iowa State that year, is what we're hearing. There ain't no fucking way. There ain't no fucking way. I'm surprised he didn't make it out.
Yeah, for how he left, he rubbed people the wrong way. But the biggest deciding factor is Bob Stoops, and Bob Stoops will never let him come back. That was a burnt bridge, man. And how he did what he did when he left, I'm sorry, yeah, he'll never. Oklahoma's got higher horizons, higher pastures. I mean, that's out of the window. He'll never be back.
Never. And
I'm not a big guy on 2.0 stuff. When the guy was here, that's great, fantastic. Go on, do what you need to do. But guess what? It's never going to happen. Having the head coach, anybody come back as a 2.0 or 3.0, those years are always worse. There's no reason to do it.
Sooner Cherry Bear gifts a membership to Stephen G. Stephen G, appreciate you becoming a member again. Sooner Cherry Bear, appreciate you gifting that membership as well. You're a good man. We appreciate you, my guy. No doubt. Yeah, that's awesome. And then Stephen G asked the question, how do you guys have healthy wide receiver rooms? We're a little concerned about Giovanni Gibson went down. We what we went through last year with the receiver room. So everybody's a little beaten up right now, but I still think everything's going to be all right, guys. I think everything's going to be all right. We got to
especially this year. I love how, for me personally, I like how Brent Venables is calling the defense again. I think he can do both. He's one of those guys that I think he can actually do both, be the head coach, be the CEO, but also to call the defense. And I think he'll be more comfortable. I think handing the keys over to a bunch of different guys just wasn't the right thing to do. I think he's the most aggressive, one of the most aggressive defensive coordinators in the country. Allow him to do his job. He'll continue to do a great job.
Yep.
I agree on that. So let me go in there, and Coach, what are your thoughts on that? I don't want dead air, so I'm gonna bounce over here and show everybody how to do this real quick. But you guys go ahead, continue.
So what? And I'm sorry. What?
Oh no, we were just talking about obviously going through what they've gone through and stuff like that. But coaching your defense plus being the head coach. What are your thoughts?
Yeah,
about
I'm with JJ on that. I think he can do it easily. And you know what? And guys, he's semi on the hot seat. And you know what? When your ass is on the hot seat, you got to do whatever it takes to turn that thing around and be successful. And we already know he's a great defensive coach. Mm-hmm. Now there's still some questionable things, and you guys know this. I love Coach Venables, but I think there's still some learning curves that he's going through as a head coach, and hopefully he's learning to get through those things and get over or around those hurdles that he's having to come up against as a head coach. But you know what? He's had enough time now that it's time to fix those things and become a better head coach. But I certainly think he can do both, and I think he can do both successfully. I'm a huge fan. I think I think he's the right guy for that job.
Yeah,
I agree.
what do you think about as far as I think sometimes when you're trying to just be the head coach and you're thinking about all those things, but maybe calling the defense focuses him a little bit, just because now he's focused in on what he knows the most. That's when he gets to frothing at the mouth, all that shit. It doesn't, you don't overthink it. Maybe is there any legitimacy to that?
Yeah, I think there's some legitimacy to that, but also I think another key thing with him calling the defense, it puts a ton on his OC,
Mm.
and but I think I'm a fan, and I think that his OC is going to do a good job, and so I think that takes a little pressure off of Coach Venables because he couldn't do it with the last guys he had.
Right. And well,
The-
what I would tell you is I think that's where Kevin Wilson comes in real handy, right?
yes.
Because of the fact that he's been a head coach and he's been an OC, and he's right now he's as an analyst, and it's kind of the same thing that he was doing with Matt Wells at that time 2 years
Right.
ago. Whenever he was calling the defense last, was that at those times when he had to go back and coach up the defense and whatever they needed to, after they came off the field, Matt Wells would kind of take over those head coaching duties, and while he was there and doing what he was doing as going back and forth with the offense, I guess you should say.
Right.
So
No,
that's
he's got the help now. I think that he needs.
right. Right. No, it is a shit show situation. Real quick, somebody was asking, how do you become a member? As you can see right here on this screenshot, it's right there. I said I misspoke earlier, Drew. It's actually right next to the subscribe button, and where it says join right there. You can jump right in there and become a member. As I said, as low as $2.99 a month will get you your membership and get you into the Discord and all that other stuff as well.
And also with multiple content, you can also cash app P. Roy Ball at I need money. Just cash app me $1 million and you're in like Flint.
Hey,
Lifetime membership.
Hey,
Lifetime membership.
hey, man, $1 million would be great. Yeah, shit. Your boy would. We'd be doing a lot of tailgating, Coach. I know that. You know that part. Oh shit. But hey, I was gonna. We've talked a lot about realignment, in the past and stuff, and I know that's one of the big things with you and the ACC and everything that's going on with the Big Ten right now. ACC, the Big 12. It seems like there's a lot of talk about FSU, Clemson leaving the ACC. I still don't see them leaving immediately right now. I heard something the other day that made me think, I got to ask JJ what he thinks about this. The idea that Florida State would be the crown jewel of the Big Ten if they were to be able to move is a little weird to me in view of the fact that who they ought to really be trying to get is Notre Dame. You know what I mean? But Florida State feels, and especially they've proven to not be a very good partner at the moment, haven't they?
So yeah, there's a number of different things. I think the golden goose out there is Notre Dame, but from anybody I've talked to at the university, they pride themselves on independency. They have great relationships with the ACC.
I'm not saying they're going. I'm not saying they're going, but I feel like Florida State wouldn't necessarily be that crown jewel either.
Yeah, and the biggest thing that I think a lot of people need to understand is the way that the ACC looks right now. Eventually, it's going to go to the Big Ten and the SEC in terms of unequal revenue sharing. The larger brands will start to make more money. Right now, Florida State will make closer to $75 million if they win again. If they have the most viewership, they win a certain amount of games in basketball and football. If they were to move a conference before 2030, they'll only get a 20 to 30% share, a lot like what Washington did. They'll actually lose money. So they're not going to pay $170 million, $150 million to leave a conference to make less money.
And tell the truth, man.
It is what it is. And trust me, I think that the ACC's got a lot of shit going on that they need to figure out. But for me, from what I understand and what I was told, the fact that the ACC could have continued in court and could have won, and which more than likely would have won. Any attorney I've talked to would have won. I think that the fact that they lowered the buyout, they lowered the grant of rights, that tells me in 2030, when all of the contracts and the TV contracts are up, we're going to see something with a Super League. We're going to see something immediately happen afterwards. But the comical thing that I look at is that you look at Florida State, they do have good viewership, but the problem is you actually have to win football games. Okay, 2-10 last year is not a good year. They go out this year. They get DJU last year. Horrible acquisition. They get Tommy Castellanos, who leaves Boston College after he's benched as a starting quarterback because he couldn't play there. He couldn't take hard coaching. I have coaches up there. He completely handled it the wrong way. I think Florida State's
I heard
in for
you
another
talking
3 or
about that
4.
on your show last week. That was hilarious.
Oh, brother, I've heard a lot of shit about that. I think that Florida State's in for another 3 or 4 win season. I think they got major issues on the defensive side of the football. Offensive line
You
has
mean
not been.
Gus isn't going to turn them into a national champion contender next year?
The Gus bus. Yeah. Imagine that. Talk about a stupid fucking hire that was. So you literally you decide to go out there and get an offensive coordinator. You go get, first off, that's even worse that he resigns as the head football. First off, UCF should be crying because when your head football coach leaves to go be an offensive coordinator somewhere else, that's a bad thing. That means
that we're part of the Big Four bullshit. Just went right down the shitter right there, didn't it?
Exactly.
But you know what? Good for them. I mean, they got rid of shit.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong.
They did. But
I'm interested to see what Scott Frost does. But when your head coach leaves, he resigns. Yeah, that's a bad move. You're basically saying I was in a shit conference. I'm going to go to the ACC. I'm going to
want to be there the whole time he was there, JJ.
Yeah,
he was looking for a job from the day he got there. He took it whenever he got fired at Auburn, but he was looking for a job. And then whenever they literally signed him to an extension the year before this.
Yeah,
and then he bitches out and goes to coach under Norvell. What in the fuck?
In my opinion, first off, that's a coward move. For instance, a program that you recruited players there and then you leave after you've already signed guys is the biggest bullshit move ever. But the fact is, though, when you look at currently the conferences right now, obviously the SEC, Big 10, 1 and 2, ACC 3, the Big 12, 4. I think the biggest thing that people need to understand, no one's leaving the ACC until 2030 because they need a full share. They're not going to leave before they get a full share. But also, from my understanding, between the ESPN, private equity, private capital, it makes a lot more sense when you start to add in all 4 conferences and then you start to create a super league where you have multiple matchups across the board.
Correct.
Right now, what the Big 12 was trying to do, that's a bad move. They're talking about taking on, I did a whole video on that, on numerous levels. A long-term plan in corporate right now is 5 years. They want to sign a 20-year term note on over $3 billion to try to add as private capital. And you have to pay that. So yeah, and then how about this? 10 to 15% interest? Are you fucking stupid? I mean, so you're going to tell me as a university, you realize basically what they're saying. I try to tell Big 12 fans this. They don't fucking get this shit. I understand.
I don't think that most of them are okay with that at all. There's no way they can be.
So I think 70% of Big 12 fans don't like it, which is a good thing. The other 30%, you just can't fix stupid. I can't do it.
Well, listen, there are Okie Light fans that are out there. I mean, I'm just going to say it.
You know, I get it. Yeah, I mean, just at the end of the day, hey, sometimes you know what? Sometimes O'Doyle rules. Go off the fucking cliff. That's cool. Go ahead, bud. You know, at the end of the day, you're going to pay 10 to 15% on fucking interest on a 20-year note. And each university's on the hook for over $500 million. You're fucking stupid. I mean, you're nuts. So I mean, and now all of a sudden,
you can't do it, man. No.
After all that shit went down, Yormark finally backed off. The university president said, "Hell no, we're not going to do that because if in 20 years." So, for instance, let's say they go into a super league. Let's say we do a super league in 5 years. I think Yormark's
done a great job. That would be a death sentence for that league.
Yeah. It would be the end of the Big 12. And actually, let me tell you this: forget the Big 12. It'll be the end of those universities. Those universities will collapse. And I can tell you this: I'm in banking, guys. I watch around the country what universities are going through. There's a lot of debt on these balance sheets. You can't fuck with this stuff. You got to stay away from it. So I understand.
You got to find a way to make it through to 2030.
Yeah.
And then you have a chance to, however, I don't even know that you necessarily end up leaving the Big 12 or anything, because first off, I don't think that the SEC really wants to expand like that. I think there may be expansion that way, but I really would think that what they're going to try to do is they're just going to continue to try to make sure if you're either part of the 72 or you're not.
Yeah. And I can tell you this, here's what's going to happen. Option 1, there's 72 teams, which is basically your Power 4 and a couple group of 5 teams. Okay. Option 2, we stay into a Power 4. There's still 4 conferences.
Correct.
If the SEC expands, it would be completely, I think, North Carolina. North Carolina is the biggest brand in the
North
ACC.
Carolina / Virginia, both. That's who they want. Yeah.
Which I, to this day, I'm gonna be honest with you, I still don't understand the Virginia shit. I understand if you want to add that team, you need to you need to beat the shit out of somebody to get wins. I
got money or something. It's got something to do with cash, but
yeah. But I mean, if you need belt to ass, I mean, I guess Virginia provides that opportunity for you. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's a motivational bumper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day,
hard enough as it is, bro. Shit.
Yeah.
and just to add to what you're saying, JJ, and for Neilio, I know he already knows I'm going to say it. So it wouldn't hurt a damn bit for the Big 12 to be done and gone, because that conference ain't worth a shit.
I fucking knew that was coming.
Let me tell you something. At the end of the day, I've got a soft spot, obviously, for 2 teams, especially West Virginia and Cincinnati, because they're old rivals. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, you know, the Big 12's got so much problems. That's why private equity did an evaluation on all 4 leagues. The top 2, the Big 10 at 13.3, the SEC at number 2 at $13.2 billion, the ACC at $10 billion, and then the fucking Big 12 was at fucking $6.3 billion. I mean, that kind of tells you everything you need to know. So at the end of the day, numbers are numbers. You look at the value of each one of those universities, it is what it is. But overall, I think that we're going to collectively go to a super league to where, you know, and people didn't want to hear this. And I told this to Jason, you know, I said, I've been saying this shit for 2 fucking years. You cannot get rid of teams because you'll burn viewership. Your first 2 years, if you do a Super 2 or whatever the fuck they wanted to do in the beginning,
if it doesn't have at least 3/4 of the football teams in FBS, you're fucked.
Because those other teams won't watch. You want the Power 4.
It better be 72 or you're fucked.
And can you imagine this for a second?
You kill the golden goose. Kill it.
Exactly. And you can't go back. So you're fucked.
No.
So in my opinion,
there's people that are already sick of it as it is, JJ.
Exactly. And here's what's even crazier. I think that when you do a super league of 72 teams, you do pods, regional pods, but then you do out of conference to where you'll have the SEC versus the Big 10, the SEC versus the ACC, the Big 10 versus the Big 12. You're going to have all those teams, the bigger matchups where you're taking the FCS out of it, maybe even do some spring games. You can still get the money to a lot of those FCS teams. But the matchups you can do with a 72-team league and you're not having these conferences, you'll have pods. It's almost like the NFC and the AFC and the NFL. You're drawing a lot more. The more eyes you have on these games, the more viewership and the more intriguing that these games will be. It's that simple. And I think there's untapped potential.
I think it's going to regionalize. They're going to pod everything back out. You may still have certain, allegiances to the conferences, but they're going to pod it out to where you should be able to. Look, if you're not trying to bring rivalries back and you're in charge of college football, you're a fucking moron.
Yeah. It's that simple. And again, I know you have the suits, the fucking ESPN people who think they know all, but they fucking don't. They've ruined the sport to this point. But at the end of the day, there's a way to get this in. And I think that right now, you look at college football, it's making roughly about in the $3.5, $4, $5 billion a year. I think that I think you put the college football world together, that the top 72 teams, you're looking at $10 to $20 billion. I think there's untapped potential, but if you add all 72 teams in there, you're playing with house money. You can
have a relegation league and all that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I agree. I think that's, And I don't know exactly what it looks like, but I think that you better have 72 because if you don't, nobody's going to care.
Yeah, if you take out more, the more teams you take out, the more you're telling those telling those fans to boycott that league, and they won't watch it. So right now, with the way NIL is, and I think the reason why we go to a 72 team league, you'll see that unequal revenue sharing. Where
Correct.
obviously your Oklahomas, your Notre Dames, your Texas, your Georgia, your Alabama will get those bigger numbers in terms of revenue. But regardless, if you go into a 72 team league, I was doing the numbers. Every team's making more money anyways. So regardless, it's going to be a win-win for everybody.
Survive until they get to this point.
Exactly. And I know all
don't
these
take these big ass stupid, don't take
these shows all these shows saying, well, this team's going to jump here in 2 years. They're not going to fucking jump and then
I don't
lose
understand
money.
why you would do that if you're Florida State even. And I get it. Florida State doesn't want to be there. I know. But even if it was $75 million, could I see them doing it at 75? Probably. But only if they're getting a full share to go.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I'm an ACC guy, but guess what? If you can't even win the fucking ACC, you're not going to win the fucking Big Ten against Ohio State and Oregon.
I don't know what they think they're doing. I don't know what they think they're doing because right now they've won the ACC one fucking time in the last 10 years.
Yeah. I mean, what the fuck? I mean, dude. I mean, you're suing a fucking league
you're acting like you're something more than what you really are, and it's not going to be helping you. I don't think it's helpful. Why them or Clemson, for that matter, want to leave the fucking ACC is beyond me.
And that's why Dabo was even saying he doesn't want to leave the ACC because he's got a better opportunity of going to the playoff every year.
Does.
Where you're guaranteed at least 2 spots. Sure. At the end of the day,
after unequal rev share, you're there.
So, yeah, exactly. And why would you, for instance, for me, okay, and I've said this to a number of different people, why would you want to go to a league, either one of them, the Big 12, I mean, the Big 10 or the SEC, where you have more fucking teams? It's harder to get to the top. When you have 4 or 5 losses, you're not going to get there. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. It's pure stupidity. And Florida State, I'm sorry, you look historically. I got news for you. Bobby Bowden's in the grave, and he's one of the best coaches of all time. He ain't coming back. I got news for you. This isn't. He's not coming back anytime soon.
With those dudes the other night. I mean, he was flipping in his grave whenever they played. They had most of the team not show up for the fucking Orange Bowl to play against Georgia like that.
Are you fucking kidding me? And the next year,
that the culture would have been, and not to say that they didn't get fucked over. Not saying that, but the culture that Bobby Bowden had would never have allowed such shit.
And trust me, I can't stand Florida State, but guess what? They should have been in there. They got fucked. But guess what? You had another opportunity to come out the next year to prove people wrong, and you got fucking destroyed by the
down your fucking leg.
It's the Okie Light syndrome. They couldn't wait for Oklahoma and Texas to leave the Big 12, and they go 0-9 in conference.
Yeah. You can't be stupid. So you're suing a fucking league saying, well, we're better than this league, but that league just beat the fuck out of you for an entire year. I mean, literally, they beat you so bad. I've seen redheaded stepchilds treated better.
SMU, why SMU got the love out of all that deal was beyond me. But SMU beat the shit out of them like that in that week 3. I was like, whoa.
I will say this: SMU bought their way in, but also too their viewership.
They're not taking any money. They're not taking any money,
brother. They got so much money. That's a sleeping giant. They are a sleeping giant.
Yeah, man. I hope that they fuck that all up somehow because they can be a sleeping giant. No doubt.
Brother, they raised.
They do have the money.
In 7 hours. In 7 hours.
That's rich, bro.
In 7 hours, them crazy fuckers raised over $450 million. Those sick fucks raised over $450 million.
They're like $100 million to get in. What is that? That ain't shit.
Some guy shit and put out fucking $100 million. I mean, literally. I mean, it was one guy. I mean,
you were back at the Pony Express days, though. You probably don't. You're a little younger than us. But Coach, they had. I mean, I'm sure you've seen the 30 for 30. Yeah. All gold 280Zs out, and they were parked right in front of the football field. I mean, they didn't fucking try to hide a fucking thing. They didn't care.
They didn't care.
And what's crazy is I actually went down to the SMU game when Pitt went down there, and again. Not a huge stadium, a smaller stadium. It's like roughly like 35,000, 37,000 seats. I would expect them to probably add more seats here because they'll have more money to play with.
Gerald Ford Stadium.
I'll tell you what, man. I was down there. I'm like, shit, this is fucking awesome. Like, we added this school to the fucking ACC. Like, holy shit.
They redid. They're putting all grass down. They're doing all kinds of shit to it now.
Yeah.
Did you see all the shitty houses around it?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me tell you something. I wasn't gonna go there, but you know what? Sometimes you got to call
It
a
is
spade
right
a
in the
spade.
heart of fucking downtown Dallas, bro.
Oh,
Exactly. It's
I told
all
them
the money.
I was gonna tell them, fuck. I'm like, there's been some development around here. Holy shit!
Hey, speaking of money, we got a small little donation from Joe Montana for
Fuck,
50 million.
fucker, dude. Like
Joe
they
Montana.
they were fucking brokered and shit over at Notre Dame, weren't they?
We needed that. We needed that boost.
I love Joe Montana, but god damn it, that's what y'all need.
We had to add that 50 million to the 20 million from the playoffs.
But I tell you what, Notre Dame did it right though. They got that TV deal. They got a great TV deal with NBC, which is
They
great.
ain't going
Now
fucking nowhere. They
Yeah.
are not going nowhere.
There is literally zero benefit to join anywhere.
No,
Zero.
no, never, ever. And you know what? And there is a team that could save the ACC.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I mean, that conference, the ACC, if Notre Dame ever did that, I mean, that would be. I mean, you're talking about the ACC doing a whole different world of football. I mean, that's
That'd
completely
be their only saving grace.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of where it's at. But I just never see it happen. And then I mean, don't get me wrong. I've talked to people up there. They said, Jay, don't buy into all this other bullshit where you hear about going to the Big Ten or anything like that. He's like, we're not joining anywhere. He goes, we love our relationship in the ACC. He goes, we have too many schools that love to face on there. But the fact is that they created that scheduling agreement now with Clemson and Florida State for viewership. Brother, they're all set, man. They've done it right. They've done it right. They're going to make a shit ton of money. It is what it is. It's a fact. And I think Notre Dame is really set for the future, but they did a good job of hiring the right coach and a guy who's going to be there for over 10, 15, 20 years. And he's going to retire.
As long as he wants to be. Yeah.
Brother.
As long as he wants to be.
And he'll never leave.
So they run Ryan Day's ass out of fucking Ohio State would be up when I worry. But even then, right now, they've proven that they are committed to they're committed to Marcus, and I think he's committed to them too.
Well, from my understanding, his family loves it there, and his wife loves it there. And from my understanding, is that this is it for them. You know, they've got everything they need. I think that anything else, any other move would be lateral. You know, you look at other people you're dealing with, the relationships they have there. I think overall, the chancellor, the presidents of that school have really developed a great relationship there, to where there's just no reason to go anywhere else. He could have a couple bad years, and they'd still appreciate everything he does. I think he's just the right guy for that job.
He's recruiting on another level too, JJ.
Oh, guys, right now our recruiting is now, you know, at this time last year and the year before, you know, we were kind of like USC. We had a lot of recruits. We were in the top 5 in the rankings, and then we would drop out, you know, to 12 or 13. But this year we're going after some big kids, and we're winning battles against the Georgias and Ohio States, and so that in itself tells me a lot about how our recruiting has improved.
But also, too, I mean, you look at just from across the board, just how Marcus is selling the university 10 times better than Brian Kelly ever did. But also, too, Marcus is a lot more likable than Brian Kelly. Let's be, you know,
absolutely.
I mean, like, Marcus is just the perfect face for a franchise.
Hey, BK is not his homie. Not his homie.
I mean,
fuck BK.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I think Marcus is just the perfect face for that organization. He's a player's coach. He relates to players. Guys like him. He creates a relationship before he coaches them hard. Brian Kelly never did that shit. I've had players, Pittsburgh guys that were here, they used to tell me all the time. They're like, Jay, Brian Kelly never had an open door policy. You had to make an appointment to meet with the head football coach. That's fucking ridiculous. That's not a guy who should be leading young men. Marcus, that motherfucker, it don't matter where he's at. He could be in another state recruiting.
Dude, that guy's
the fun for any player.
Man.
And you know, guys, you see him at all the.
I saw him getting in the middle of Den broadcasts during that game.
Yeah, he did,
dude.
But you know, you also see him at all the basketball games, all the other sports. There's Marcus. You know, a lot of college football coaches don't do that, guys.
Nope. And I've said it before. every university starting from the top down. It's like the NFL, every organization from the top down, and it matters with all your coaches. If everybody is on the boat and everyone's rowing in the right direction, you can do all kinds of shit. You can do amazing things, but if everybody has to be on the ship, everybody has to be going in the same direction. And I think this year is a prime example of how Marcus took that team to the playoffs and the teams they beat. I have utmost respect for him. I think anybody that the Heinisch brothers, Kurt Heinisch and his brother that are up there, they talk so highly of him. I know there's been plenty of guys that just immediately the first thing they say is, one, they loved Al Golden too. Al Golden was a great fit there, by the way.
Yeah.
I thought he's a tremendous coach. I understand why the NFL called
We're going
him.
to miss him.
Yeah. He's a tremendous football coach. But Marcus is going to be able to solidify that position. He understands what he's doing. I told my buddy Donnie, he's a major Notre Dame fan. He's like, Jay, what do you think? He's like, we're losing a guy. We're losing multiple people. I said, relax. I said, there's one thing about Marcus Freeman. He's going to go around and make sure he interviews the right guys. It's not like you have a fucking no-name head football coach. It's not like Brian Kelly's there. It's completely different. He's got enough people out there. Notre Dame spending money. I said, don't even worry about it. I'm not concerned at all. And guess what? I was here 2 years ago. And I said that Marcus Freeman would be taking his team to a playoff. It was inevitable because of how the guy coaches, but the relationships he builds with players. Relationships still matter. It's a lot like Gino Auriemma, who's the head basketball coach at UConn. It depends on how you build the relationships first, and then you coach the player. If you practice up here, your game, especially the national championship game, might drop to here, but everyone else is practicing down here. So guess what? Everybody else drops below you. It depends on how you build those relationships, and Marcus has done that. Even Venables. Again, he's got a lot to prove this year, but I'm a huge Brent Venables guy. He builds those relationships. He's going to take that
still worse than they were last year, though. They owe him too much money, and he would basically throw away the investment in your roster, and you would have to pay $100 million to coaches.
Right.
Exactly. You are better off spending that money on NIL, getting better acquisition, better talent, because it's there. You're Oklahoma. Yeah. You already know what you're selling. You already have the product. You already know those guys that are there. Bob Stoops loves Brent Venables. The entire university loves Brent Venables. Your guys there. Keep them there. Continue to build. Don't waste millions of dollars on trying to get another coach that won't work out there. Brent Venables is that guy, and he'll take it seriously this year. I'm telling you, man. I've been saying it. I know he had a rough year last year, but I am still sticking on this fucking horse. I'm telling you, he's going to do well this year. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I'll buy that.
Urban Engine, as far as Giovanni goes, it's anywhere from 3 to 6 months. Kind of depends on what kind of break it is. That's what Coach Ricks was talking to us about. That's of course his cousin, I think, is what it is, not nephew, but whatever. Anyway, they haven't talked to him a little bit.
Yeah, Timothy Green, I appreciate the comment, by the way, too. Appreciate you tuning into the show, man. This is the best show out there. I can promise you that.
Dude, and Timothy's one of our guys, man. He's our West Virginia homeboy in here all the time. But JJ's, look, it's in the description. He is our one of our all-time favorite dudes, period, but one of our favorite guests to have. Anytime we can get JJ in here, we appreciate it. And yeah, man, I know you had a lot of stuff to do, so if you need to get out of here, let us know whenever you're ready. But what else?
I do, unfortunately, because I got to do some extra work before work tomorrow morning. I got an 8:30 meeting. But guys, I had to jump on here because it's been so long, and obviously this is guys. And I got to tell all your viewers right now, and again, I've said it before. I don't go on a lot of shows because I don't do the clickbait stuff. That's why I don't grow as fast as everybody else. I don't do the clickbait stuff. I do the straight news, whether people like it or not. And this is a show that does it. Jason and Coach are truly the best at what they do. It's an easy subscription to hear. If you can join the show, join the show. It's that simple. Become a channel member. This is the best show where you're going to get straight answers, not the bullshit where, the Pittsburgh Steelers are going to drop to the NCAA. I mean, what the fuck? That shit's never going to happen. Holy shit. I mean, at the end of the day, this is a show where you're going to get the right information, but you have great people. Relationships matter, just like in your workforce, just like with your family, just like right here. We appreciate everything you do and tuning into this show. That's why I love coming on here, guys. Honestly, I appreciate all the viewership. The questions are incredible. The people that continually comment, guys, I can't appreciate it enough. That's why I love coming here.
I'm telling you, JJ, he said we have the best show. I don't know about all that. I was telling somebody yesterday, I'll let other people talk about that. We have the most fun show. We talk the most shit for sure. But
Oh,
and we don't bullshit either, but we don't bullshit and tell you a bunch of bullshit lies. We're just not going to do it because it's just not even worth it. But guys, JJ's his Sunday conversation show that he does every week. If you're not over there
It's
watching that
excellent.
shit, he carries that thing alone, talking. And look, you'll find out more about Pitt football than you've ever thought you might know. But if you want to know what's going on in the ACC, you want to know what's going on, certainly on the East Coast and really all over. He's got connections to. He's an insider when it comes to college football. He knows people throughout every corner of this country. Hey, wanted to shout out to Austin too while you're in here with us as well. Make sure you guys get over there though. Check him out. His brother Austin is a reliever there now with the Mariners, correct?
Yep, Seattle Mariners. Yep,
Yeah.
in the Major League Baseball.
All
So
right.
Yeah,
we appreciate it, guys.
Hey,
I cannot
man,
thank you enough.
All love to the kid, and isn't he selling some coffee or something now? Do we need to sell some coffee for old Austin?
He does, man. He sells. It's the K collection. I don't have it in front of me right now, but the K collection. It's a great coffee brand that he built out. That we did a lot of testing. I helped him. A really good friend of mine, Corey Withrow, played in the National Football League for 11 years with the San Diego Chargers, the Cincinnati Bengals. A really good friend of mine. They're co-partners in that whole entire thing. And I can tell you this: the K collection, and it's great. You can look it up. It's a great brand, but more importantly, the amount of testing that we did with Major League Baseball, where Austin uses that kind of stuff before games, where it's a great coffee to get your ass going, especially in the morning for someone like myself. All of us get up early in the morning.
Yeah,
it's great stuff. Make sure you take a look at it.
Yeah,
and
I
obviously,
threw it in there. K Collection Coffee Brown. I'll have him give us the link, and we'll start posting that link in our spots too.
That's awesome.
Because all love to the kid, man. I know he's working his ass off right now.
He loves you guys. He loves you guys. He watches your show all the time. I told him about this show. Listen to this. This is crazy. I'm so glad you brought this up. So I'm talking to him, and I'm sending a couple clips here and there, and I sent him a clip of you guys talking about him with the Seattle Mariners. Like I want to say like 3 or 4 months ago.
Yeah.
Austin goes, shit, I'm going to become a subscriber to that show. I'm going to watch that show all the time. You guys brought it up. He's like, dude, I love that fucking show. I'm like, dude, it's the best show out there. I said, literally, I release shit on my show about the ACC and whatnot. But I said, those guys, they cover everything. I said, that's why I'm on there. He's probably watching this show right now.
We like to talk ball, man. That's just what we want to do. I mean, I love Oklahoma, and Coach is a Notre Dame guy, but we will talk about any football team.
But it's funny. The first thing he told me is, I love the authenticity because it's hard to find real people anymore. And he called you both real. And obviously, I told him, I said, look, I love these guys like they're my own family. I said, oh, it's their family to us. And he goes, well, I'll be supporting them. I can tell you that.
Hey man, we'll tell him anytime. We'd love to have him on just to shoot.
Hell yeah,
and all that kind of stuff, man. And we're excited for him, no matter what. I mean, Austin, if you're watching, man, whether you're watching on the replay or whatever, man, kick ass, and we're excited for you, brother. We're excited for you.
Appreciate you guys so much as always. Again, catch me on Talking College Football with JJ Kitchen. Guys, be good. But remember, before I go, share the show. Don't be a hoe. All right?
Don't cool. Be a hoe and share that show. Love him.
Love you guys.
Love you, brother.
JJ, you the man.
Later.
JJ Kitchen. Dude, he's my fucking favorite.
I love him, man.
Brother, me too, man. He is truly an authentic cat, man. We love him, man. And you know, we've been doing content with him basically since the start. I mean, well, I was probably in right around the time that you joined the show was when we started doing work with them. And the first time I had seen him was with Coos, which they were doing a crossover show. They were doing a show because they were getting ready to play the Backyard Brawl. And so then I kind of went in there and watched him a little bit, and we had him on the show, and then he had done work with Coach I and those guys from Fanatic as well, shotting them. So, man, yeah, JJ's my dude, man. He's my dude, and Austin killing it, man. It's you know how it is with those relievers; they kind of get moving around a little bit, and I know he was with the Rockies there for a minute, and then he went over to the Marlins. I think, the Marlins. And now, but it seems like they may have found his spot there in Seattle. I don't care where he's pitching, man. We're going to root for him. It's, he's
hell yeah.
He's a flamethrower, brother. A flamethrower.
I love it.
Yeah, man. It's fun. It's fun to watch.
And I'll try some of that coffee.
Yeah, man. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Pimping ain't easy. But it sure is fun, Jimmy. Sure is fun. Oh man, let's see. Everything is
Hey,
changing. We'll
Jason.
get back in a few years. No
Hey.
one knows what the rules are right now. That's true. That's part of the thing. Go ahead, Coach.
Yeah. No, I was just going to tell you. I started working out yesterday, so first day of the rest of my life. I gotta slim down a little bit and get healthy again.
Are you over at the Core Center? Is that where you go?
No, I've started just walking right now. So
Uh-huh.
I just walk here at the high school and around the neighborhood and stuff. So
Right on.
just starting slow and easy. I got I've been getting about a mile and a half in, but I'm watching what I'm eating and trying to treat my body a little better.
Well, and I mean, we kind of all have to. I've been feeling it too lately, and I've been doing more than I have. I've been watching my eating a lot more, and I've been doing little workouts. But I want to get into a gym and start doing a little more with that too. I should.
Yeah.
But I've been feeling better than I had been previous to that in a while, and I know part of it is I got this new little thing that you can put on your nose to just open your nostrils and not snore, and that helps me sleep. And I've gotten more oxygen than I've
Oh, good.
probably ever gotten. Dude, that's been a big deal for like how I sleep. I still sleep 5 hours, 6 hours at the most,
Right.
but I sleep better though.
But you get quality sleep.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
You wake up
Good.
feeling
Yeah,
better.
I've seen
And I
those
think
little
that's pretty
things.
helpful. I think
I've
that's
seen
pretty helpful.
those.
Yeah. There's a few different types of them and stuff. I've never really wanted to get like that CPAP machine or whatever, but I think I probably
Right.
should have.
Give
Because
your
you
brother
can
Jack.
certainly feel this helping, right? But I don't know how well I'd do with something like that on my face all night sleeping. I don't know.
Yeah.
Coach,
Borrow
lost 80 pounds off from eating
Coach
healthier and
Young's.
walking. Check that out. Ganja lost 80 pounds. Your goal?
Oh,
Lost 80
wow.
pounds all from just eating healthier and walking. You can do it consistently.
That's good job.
No shit.
Good job, Ganja.
Hell yeah,
That's
man.
awesome.
That is badass.
If I lose 80 pounds, that's going to be
back
like
on the
losing
smoking
my
a little
pecker.
bit?
Huh?
I was asking Ganja if he had to cut back on the smoking so you didn't get the munchies more, or is that just
Wow.
That's pretty good, man. I like it. I'm lucky to sleep 4 hours, dude. And you know what? I don't know if you're a snorer, Jamie. I'm telling you this. I forget what it's. I'll tell you what it is. This one is called Regenix, and I actually found it on like the TikTok shop. It was like $15 or something like that. But it's essentially, it's
Wow.
just, I mean, there's 2 magnets on it. It goes on your
Cool.
nose, just right up here. But the magnets, they have these 2. Only thing I don't love about it is these little stickers you got to put on. They're like Band-Aids. And then
Yeah.
you just put this little thing over your nose, and it opens the nostrils just a little bit. And it's worked though.
Hey, if it works, it
I
works,
feel a
brother.
lot better. Yeah, I feel a lot better. And when my mom was here last, she was here, it was probably a month ago now. And it was right after I'd first got them. And she kept coming in here and checking on me. She's like, I didn't know what was going on. You weren't snoring. And I was worried. She was like, so she came and checked on me. So it's definitely, I feel better when I wake up for sure. And I don't have to, that 4 or 5 hours, even if you get that 4 or 5 hours and you're getting more oxygen while you're doing it, you're going to feel better. Dylan Dean just heard Giovanni Gibson's hurt broken leg or just an ankle. What's the word? No, no, it wasn't the indoor field. It was outside. He got rolled up on is what we're hearing. It's a broken leg. I don't know if it's the Coach Ricks just told us it was the fibula, and he thought it was a clean break, but we're not positive for sure on that. I think that's one.
Getting
He's
some
going
more
to get
opinions.
more opinions, right?
Yeah.
Looks like 3 to 6 months, man. But yeah, it's just the name of the show. It's Talking College Football with JJ Kitchen, but I will go find it right now for you real quick.
I'm telling you, I love JJ.
Dude, he is. And you know what? As a matter of fact, it's in the description, Timothy. We've got it tagged in the description. It's right at the very top of the description. You can just click on it right there, as a matter of fact. That way I don't have to, it may not let me drop that in there. Talking college football with JJ Kitchen. It's right at the top of it literally is right at the top of the description on the show right here. So if you
Oh,
go and look
wow.
in there, you'll find it.
Bill went from 375 to 200.
Wow. Who did? Wow. You and the trizepatide? Wow, dude. Congratulations, though.
Friggin' awesome.
That's fucking amazing.
It's a whole person. Lost a whole person.
Yeah. Yeah, it's Regenix is what it's called, bud. Regenix is the one that I've got. I don't have any kind of like deal with them or nothing like that. I'm just telling you, it's Coach was talking about that, and it was something that's I think it's helped me in a lot of different areas. I've lost like 10 or 15 pounds. I think it's just from sleeping better, man. I'm serious.
Right. Oh, it makes all the difference in the world, guys.
Yeah.
You know, taking care of yourself and you know, hell, I just haven't taken care of myself. So
Okay. Ganja said that it was his grandpa that lost 80. He dropped
80
30
pounds.
just from quitting sugar. Son of a
Hell,
bitch, when you walk 5
that's
plus
huge
miles
right
a day
there.
to work. Yeah, I get that. Yeah, it's easy to from quitting. And you know, the thing is if men are usually a lot of times it's easier to lose weight for us than like a lot of women. I know a lot of women struggle
Yeah,
with it
that's
more
right.
than
That's
like
right.
men do. But it's about staying on a routine more than anything. And that's the hard part for me is that I like my sodas and stuff like that. I like sweet tea. I love sweet tea. It's got a shit ton of sugar in it, man. Shit ton of sugar in it. So that's definitely the hard part for me. And I'll go really well for a while, and then I get back into I get out of the habit of eating better, and it kills me every time. Kills me every time.
Well, and I quit. You know, I procrastinate. Well, you know what? I'll go get instead of getting 2 miles today, I'll get 4 tomorrow, and then tomorrow comes and 4 you didn't get shit. So you know, and then next thing I know, I've gone months and then years of not working out.
Doesn't take long. It doesn't take
No,
long, right? It's
nope.
yeah. Yep. So it's
Well, Jason, I'm going to have to get off, brother.
you too, man. We've been going for over 2 hours tonight, and then I'll be back in the morning to talk some of this stuff, guys. We're gonna find out more about it, but what I would tell you is that let's not knee jerk react. And I know I was pretty close to knee jerk reacting last night, but don't knee jerk react. I want to see this through, and I think that they're in a lot better position than they were a year ago to be able to handle some of this stuff. They are. The offensive line still looks real good. They have a you know, they've got a good staff in there that knows what they're doing. They've got some depth in the right places. Okay. And I think that you're probably going to see Jim Nagy go out there and find a guy or two, along with, I think he was already going to do that anyway. Like I said, we're hearing things about the running back room. I think that they were, because of what was going on with Devon Mitchell, I expect that they may target a tight end. I don't know that you need to, but they may. You know, I think it's all a matter of we'll see what happens. But man, I don't know, man. It's something, and again, you know, Coach said this earlier. Everything happens for a reason, and he's never wrong in what he does. So whatever that may be, and whatever the season may bring, I think we're going to be all right. I think we're going to be all right. All right,
YOLO.
guys. Appreciate everybody coming in, man. Appreciate all the likes. I said that earlier. We had more
Yeah.
likes than we had people in the show at the time. So 50 plus likes. That's actually a lot better than
Wow.
we usually in the stream with. I think right now we're at 57. So 59, almost to 60. If we get one more, that'd be awesome while we're done. And we only got 39 people in here right now. So that's killer. But hey, guys, appreciate it a lot. Thanks a lot, everybody, for coming in. And we'll see you all on the next one. Come on, sucker.